All right, so I want to talk about how to improve at fighting games and what does it take to become good. Um, Now, obviously, practice helps. Obviously, playing helps. Obviously, like what playing to learn helps. That's all stuff that people have said a lot, and I'm not really going to repeat it here because I'm going to assume that this is not the only source of this that you get. Um, but whenever you are trying to improve, like obviously there's like technical stuff to learn. There's like practice your hit confirms. There's practice all that stuff. But like a lot of people hit a mid-level wall, wherein they can do everything that their character can do. Right? They can do their hit confirms. They can do their combos. They can do their setups. They can play their neutral, but they don't really know how to actually get better. Like they get to that level and then they get stuck. And a lot of people are there where they know they know lots of things, and they're not that bad. They're like lower celestial, higher floor 10 level players, and they that's it, right? They can't really get better than that. They're like, well, every time I play like a good player, I get wrecked, and they know they kind of are good enough to know that when they play a good player, they get bodied, right? Like they know that there's a pretty big gap in skill. Like, how do you close that sort of gap? And the truth of it is, you need a community to teach you. It is impossible to become top at a game on your own. And now someone's going to be like, oh, yes, but so-and-so just went into the lab and did this, and then they came out a good player. It is technically possible to get good and to like do this stuff entirely with self-reflection, and to do this with that. But that's kind of a load of bull. It's you have to have people that teach you, and I don't need like a teacher. You don't need like a mentor. You don't need someone better than you to bring you up. Like you don't need to be like, hey Lord Knight, can you coach me? Hey Sajam, let's teach me. Right? Like you don't need to go to those sort of players that kind of take that semi-educational role in the community, and have them teach you or pick or that sort of stuff. What you need are a community that will know your habits and call you on them. Either they're someone who like a good example. I was playing with a practice partner, and I noticed a tendency every time that I'll actually do the full situation. Every time that I stand blocked non-shock state every single time they went like that. They backdashed 100% of the time. And if you're playing like short sets with people, that's fine. That's actually your best option. But do it 6 times in a row, well, run throw, right? Like everything can be called out. And having a community that plays against you specifically a lot, that can make you aware of your habits and can teach you what your patterns are, so that you can know how to break them and you can know how to not follow patterns very well, and how to set patterns and how to change patterns. And that sort of thing will go so far. And then the next most important part of this is that you need to talk with people. When I was learning fighting games, it was predominant, like when I was getting better, it was predominantly in Accent Core and eventually Street Fighter 4. Those are the games that I started trying to become good. That's when I started entering tournaments and getting better. And a big part of that, that improvement, was that after we played 20 games, a bunch of our people that we played with were smokers, so they'd go out, take a smoke break, and we talk about the games. We talk about other stuff too, but we also would just talk about what was happening, what their decision making was, what was the sick moment, was not sick moment, and there was a real organic learning there. That it's so important to get feedback from other people that watch you. That's good faith feedback, and it's so useful to go through and just talk about the stuff that's happening, what was going through their head. Like, you don't know what's going through their head. You can be pretty sure of it after you played for a long time. Like, I know what certain play patterns look like. I can smell out certain things just in body language because I played fighting games for many, many years. But like actually talking about them and actually asking what was going through their mind or what these sort of things are, and also teach each other your setups. Like, do not just hit them with it over and over. Teach each other, like, what does Kai actually get here? What is the meaty setup? Like, on this setup, like, I teach my practice partners that the early this, like, if it gets out of their reversal, right? Like, so they know to get out of their reversal. They know even to challenge for it. And that there are 2 meaty timings for Kai's 5K and how to recognize the differences. And those things are like, you have to teach your opponents how to fight you. And what your setups are so that they can make the decision. They can make the educated rock, paper, scissors, that they know what they're playing. And so that there is all of those sort of things. Like, they should know as much about your character as you do, and you should know as much about their character as they do. Like, you should kind of teach each other everything, and be very open about it, and that is how you become a good player. Obviously, that alone does not get you there. That is no substitute to just literally practicing your actions. After my set today, I realized that it was something that came up in our discussion, but it also was something that I noticed in myself, was that there's a lot of places that I was not reacting. There was a lot of times where I just wasn't looking for it. So he was getting away with, like, that, and I just blocked it a lot. And I blocked it a lot more than I needed to. Similarly, I was eating this. That's also reactable, and I was just blocking it. And I need to go back. And now that I know this from that set, I need to actually do the little bit of practice. I'm going to practice saying, oh, if Kai stun edge is in his block string, I should stun dipper, or I should DP, or whatever my answer is. To start practicing doing that on reaction, so that my brain is faster, so that when I look for it, I know it's coming and I can beat it consistently. Because I was letting that slip some. And that sort of stuff is, you have to do both. You have to practice if you want to be good, and I mean like tournament winning good. You have to practice, and you have to have people that will teach you. Not like a teacher, like a other top player who's going to bestow knowledge upon you, but you need people who are going to, you can learn the matchup against. Like, I'm looking for a matchup partner for every single character in this game so that I can learn the matchup against good players in every single one. And if I have to make good players out of them, I have to make good players out of them. Like, it is hugely important to like have that sort of stuff. Just to like go through that process and learn that stuff robustly. And also, ideally, you have multiple practice partners for each character. Because if that's the case, then you're not just learning how to beat John or whatever. You're like, you know how to like play against the matchup more fully. But also, do everything your character can do for your opponent. Like Kai, I have to be able to do... I don't have meter, that's why. Never mind, I'm just bad. You have to be able to do these type of mix-ups. You have to be able to do your character justice in order to make your opponents, like, to help your practice partner learn. That's important. You have to both push your character, and they have to push theirs, and you have to push the characters together. That's so important. Also play multiple characters. Like, if you can, you can, like, this is for more advanced players. Being a character specialist is great. It's probably the fastest way to get good. But if you are someone that enjoys practicing and learning multiple characters, learn multiple characters. Like, I can play pretty much every character in the game at a basic level. I know how every single character works. I know what their basic setups are now better than than a few weeks ago when I made the How to Fight Everyone, so I'm probably going to redo a bunch of those. I know a bunch of things on how to get through like what is an Axel? What's going through an Axel player's mind? Well, how do I know what's going through an Axel player's mind? Well, I should probably play Axel, right? That helps a lot. Or I should ask an Axel player. Those two things are your options. And there are no shortcuts. It is hard. If you are new to fighting games, or you like play a very different kind of fighting game, like you play Tekken or Smash, and you're coming to Street Fighter, you're coming to Guilty Gear, it's hard. Do not expect to get good quickly. Do not expect to be the best at all. Like just give yourself time. But it's so important to talk about your sets with the people you played them with if you can. And add people on Steam. Like you go online, you play go to the parks and you play 20 games with someone. Add them, right? If you're on PC, add them and play them again. You know, talk with them for a little bit. Most people are pretty open about it, and it's the best thing you can do for the FGC at large. The best thing you do for yourself as a player, and all of that stuff. And also recognize that it's okay not to get good. This is more aimed at someone who is intending to enter tournaments, who is intending to win, and to really put their darndest in. It does not take 10 hours every day to get good. If you played an hour every day, if you played 2 hours every weekend, and you had a real learning intent, you can get a lot better. And that goes a long ways. So I hope this is helpful for someone. I'm going to go ahead and upload this, even though it's a little bit rambly. Just because I think it's a sentiment that's really important. And you don't get good in a vacuum. That's the takeaway. You get good with others.